Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. So as you can see here, I have my special guest producer, Vader. I name all my cats after Sith Lords. Zoe took a sick day. She's off today. She said she needed a day to relax. So earlier today on DB Presents the Underground News, we did a very good show. You probably need to go check that out. So just go check it out. So one thing I want to put out there. So imagine you are a very successful ASME, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, National Secretary. You meet this candidate, think he's going to be a good candidate. And he shows up, and he's an average workman. He's wearing jeans and a t-shirt, and he's just doing his thing. And you guys become fast Facebook friends. Then he sells out to this establishment. One thing Dan Dawson will never do is sell out to the establishment. You know what? You might see me in a suit and tie, which you will, I guarantee you. You will never see me sell out. And that's what this guy did. My producers give me cues for petting. So let's talk about this. Washington School Superintendent warns parents to prepare for more closures. Now keep in mind, the Washington School Superintendent is a sellout. Let's read this article. COVID-19 outbreaks in schools have forced hundreds of Washington students to quarantine, and school closures in Pierce, Catatus, and Grays Harbor counties. You can go to Washington. COVID-19 outbreaks in schools have led to hundreds of Washington students to quarantine and forced school closures in Pierce, Catatus, and Grays Harbor counties. Though parents should prepare for more closures this year, State Superintendent Chris Rydell does not anticipate a complete shutdown of all schools. So you know what? Let's talk about this dude, Chris Rydell, because that's the dude I was talking about. He showed up as an average workman. And then once he got into the political system, this is what happens with so many union leaders. See, they get caught up in the system. They don't care. They don't care. And they know what they're saying is not true. This man is a wreck. He's a ruin. Okay, producers are off the air. That's you. You're off the air. There you go. They don't care. They'll lie, and lie all day. Let me quote to you from this Chris Rydell character. And it's a character of who he's not really is. He did this just for monetary gain. You know how I know? Because I was there from day one. I campaigned for him. Inslee, same thing. You cannot trust these Democrats. That's why I went from being a nationwide union officer. Hell, the nationwide secretary of the year. I have the plaque to prove it. If anybody wants to question me on it, to being a staunch Republican. I'll never vote Democrat again. I'll never vote union again, ever. Let me quote to you from what Mr. Rydell said. We have the strictest health protocols, which is why we're not seeing what we saw in Florida, Texas, in Georgia, where their schools cranked up, Rydell said, by the tens of thousands. They were shutting down. What are you talking about? I've been back here in Texas since school started. Haven't seen any schools shut down. You know what I'm saying? Shut down in Washington State. Now that I'm no longer there, that's when I'm saying shut down. Schools aren't shutting down here. They're still going. How can I put this in a YouTube friendly way? You sorry son of a bitch. So let me tell you what happened between me and Chris. Chris made a statement one day on something we used to be Facebook friends. I'm like, Chris, I private messaged him. I didn't blast him out on Facebook or anything. And I'm like, You're selling out. What are you doing? And he defriended me and blocked me because you're a coward. And when you look at him, look. He's soft and marshmallow puff soft at that. I'm sorry, I'm just so pissed about this. Let's continue reading here. Students at Edenville Middle School returned to in-person classes Monday after being sent home in September because of a COVID-19 outbreak. This closure and a few others had many watched it. Remember this. He said, we're not seeing what we saw in Florida, Texas, and Georgia. Remember that. Especially those who received letter after letter notifying them their child had close contact with someone who tested positive for COVID-19. These are folks who are worried. There are certainly some who have advocated that no kid should go back until everyone has access to the vaccine. Rydell said the public health data doesn't back that up. So, hold up. You're speaking out one side of your mouth, speaking out the other side of your mouth. So what are you saying? So were Florida, Texas, and Georgia right? The data doesn't back up that kids shouldn't go back to school? Let's continue with Mr. Rydell's quotes. The sorry son of a bitch. Certainly there are going to be kids who are exposed and there's a risk. But even today, the hospitalization rate of young people is just fractional. He continued, it was so small when we weighed that against the isolation, the anxiety, the academic impacts, and the lack of engagement, and it cuts off. So what you're saying is Florida, Texas, and Georgia were ahead of you. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Rydell? Because you're speaking out two sides of your mouth. You're lying. You're a piece of crap. Let's continue. University of Washington pediatrics professor, Dr. Beth Ebel, said the issue of young children contracting COVID-19 is serious. So, hold on, no, let's stop. Let's just continue. I'm sorry, people. I'm just so fired up about this because it's ridiculous. Ebel also works at Harborview Medical Center's pediatrics clinic, where she has seen some children who are hospitalized because of the virus. We've also seen kids who have had some of those more serious complications. There could be heart problems that are left over. We've seen that in our clinic. So I don't like the way this quote is taken because, Sweden, Norway, and all those countries, they're both love to tout, are telling me if your under 12 kid gets the vaccine, they may suffer heart troubles. And so if you look what's going on around a lot of the country, the flu vaccine, when you take your kid in for the flu vaccine, they're actually being given the COVID vaccine. Mistakes happen, I guess, but if it's your kid, what are you going to do with that? And it creates heart inflammation, which is why a lot of countries will not allow this vaccine. Let's go and finish it out. Ebel does, however, think bringing children back to school was the right move, especially now with the COVID-19 shot for younger people is on the horizon. In late September, officials announced that Pfizer has submitted its vaccine for FDA approval for kids ages 5 to 11. Let's just finish this out. Generally, most parents have wanted this vaccine and they've seen it go well for their older kids, Ebel said. I know so many parents are going to be relieved, delighted, the weight they've been carrying around, they're going to be able to put it down. See, here's the thing. Here's what these fucking liberals do. They lie, they lie, they lie. They put their feelings on other people. You don't know that. And I doubt you've talked to that many parents who are not skeptical about a vaccine. Rydell and Ebel, both, you're pieces of shit. Chris Rydell, you're a piece of shit. Dr. Ebel, you're a piece of shit. But Rydell and Ebel are encouraging anyone getting their COVID-19 shot to also get the flu vaccine because the flu season is expected to be worse this year. We feel that, and this is in the article, co-administration is fine and protection, Ebel said. In the meantime, Reg said sending children back in person was the right thing to do. We are cautious medically. Sorry, guys, I'm having a little trouble with my laptop here. So, right, we are cautious state medically, but we did push through for learning, and I think it was the right balance. So, he said, so what you're telling me is that you're blaming Texas, Florida, and Georgia for putting big kids back into school before there's a vaccine for younger kids, which you don't know is going to work, and which many other countries have said, no, this is causing too many health problems in our kids. We're not going to do it. But you think that's the right thing to do. So you're going to do the exact same thing that Texas, Florida, and Georgia did, but you want to blame them. Man, this is ridiculous. And if you're falling for this, I don't know what to tell you. Except that Chris Rydell's a piece of shit. Don't like him. Don't like him because I know him personally. Here's the thing. I don't support Joe Biden's policies. I don't support AOC's policies. Repeatedly, I don't support those three policies. I don't support Inslee's policies. I know him. I don't like him. Chris Rydell, I know him. I don't like him. So many leaders who are still in power in Washington State that I don't like. And keep in mind, I used to be a blue dog Democrat, a union officer. And if I made that switch, think about what that means. I just read you the article. Rydell's a piece of shit. You guys need to rid yourself of him. Thank God I'm in Texas. Thank God. So all I can say is like, subscribe, share. And as always, do what you got to do.